Playing congas on a pop song requires a different approach than traditional Afro-Cuban music. Find out why, coming up. Hi, my name is Kevin Zahn, and if this is your first time on Rhythm Notes, please subscribe so we can help you level up your drumming and home recording today. In this video, we're doing conga patterns for pop songs. If you want more information and free lessons on conga patterns, go to rhythmnotes.net. I'll put a link in the description below. A good conga pattern for pop songs has space, it has good sounds, and it fits with the other rhythm section instruments. If you want more on how to get good conga sounds, I'll put a link in the description below and a video up here in the cards. Sometimes the traditional pattern is exactly what you want. Now that's an example of a pop song that's already grounded in traditional Afro-Cuban music. So a Havana-style wawonko adapted for that song worked fine. But more often than not, a variation on the traditional pattern is going to work better for most pop songs, especially if they're not grounded in Latin foundations. Maybe they're more blues or rock or some other pop forms like hip-hop or R&B. So let's get into the 3 pop song patterns on congas. Each pop song pattern is either going to be based on the wawonko, a tumbao, or a 6/8 pattern. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on 6/8 patterns, but in this video we're going to go over the first 2, an example of a wawonko based pattern and a couple of examples of variations on the tumbao based pattern. Let's check out the wawonko first. So in this example, I extended the phrase a bit to 4 bars. Sometimes I didn't do the conversation every single 2-bar cycle, the low, high, high, low. I maybe skipped it a little bit and did a little bit of a variation on it, just because I think it fit with the song. Plus, there was a much more dynamic section of the song that I felt the pattern could kind of double up and go back to the traditional 2-bar cycle where it's low, high, high, low every 2 bars. The next pattern is more of a variation on the tumbao, and it was inspired by the pattern played on Thank You by Dido. So what's different about this pattern from a regular tumbao? The regular tumbao is going to be a slap and then 2 open tones for your basic phrase, not getting into the extended phrases, but just your basic phrase. If you want more information on traditional patterns like tumbao, I'll put a link to a video in the description below and one up here in the cards. Instead of starting with a slap before the 2 open tones, this pattern starts with an open tone, shifting that slap over to the right a little bit so that it lines up with the backbeat from the drum beat, from the drum set groove. Now that's kind of an important thing to know because sometimes those slaps where it goes slap, snare, slap, doesn't always work, especially with a vocalist where the instruments are spaced out so that they can really feature the vocal line and the listeners can really hear it. Like with Dido's music, that's what it's all about. If you're playing a groove that's distracting from that, it's not going to work. So shifting that slap over seems like a little thing, but it's huge results in terms of establishing a groove that complements this particular vocal style. The last example is also a tumbao variation. It was inspired by the pattern played on 1,000 Years by Sting on the album Brand New Day. Now this pattern keeps the slap right where it usually is, which doesn't get in the way of the particular groove in that vocal style. So it works on this tune to just keep it where it is, but then it's followed by tones, tones, and tones. Okay, so there's one slap and a series of tones that establishes a simple conversation. It's a simple phrase. I think Luis Conte plays on this album, and it's just 2 open tones on the high drum, 2 open tones on the low drum, and a single open tone on the high drum. It's just musical. It leaves space, but yet resolves. It's a call and response. Just like the traditional Afro-Cuban music has call and response song forms, the same thing happens when we establish a conversation with our drums, thinking about how we introduce an idea and then resolve that idea, kind of provide the answer to that idea. And because these patterns are so wide open and there isn't as much of the heel-toe marcha thickness, that's not really the focus, we want to make sure that these sounds are very good. I've said that 3 or 4 times in this video, but it's important. It's important to play rhythmically accurate, to fit right on the groove, and think of your tones and slaps and different drum conversations as a melodic voice in the tune. You know, you kind of want someone to hear that groove, and if someone else were to play the song and didn't play that groove the same way, you'd say, something's not right with this song. Like, that's how you know you've done a great job writing a good part for your pop song. If you like this video and you want to watch more, check out this one up here that YouTube suggested for you. If you want more information on conga patterns and conga sounds, check out this playlist with a bunch of different videos from Rhythm Notes. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.